right, so welcome to another Mindset Monday, and this week is a little bit different for me because I'm coming back off of a break, right? So all last week, for everyone in the community already is well aware of this. For everybody else, there was no Mindset Monday last week. I had a guest that was set to fill in, but unfortunately there was a loss in the family, and that individual couldn't actually step in and do that. So for everybody out there who might have been looking for it, it didn't exist. But today, of course, I'm leaning in a little bit in a very we'll call it perspective view, and not a perception view, but a perspective view. Because while I was out and away with spring break with my family, it really gave me an opportunity to step away from the business, which is JSC, for the first time during peak season. I didn't get to do this last year. And so for me, it was, what I loved about it was I still had a few conversations. In fact, a few folks on the call right now I had some chats with. But I was able to really kind of separate myself and just watch. And then gave me an opportunity every morning to do data research. And here's a couple things that, separate from the data research, that I really discovered. And I'll say this, I was extremely impressed. And not because everything was perfect, and because some of the things that even were pre-programmed went through well, and that all the pieces of the pie was great, right? But nothing that I had planned for this. But I was impressed because I still saw people posting. I still saw individuals, foundations plus, and even non engaging. I saw people continuing to move forward and send me messages, just updates, just, hey, got done with this interview. It went great. I tried this. I struggled with this. And more than anything, what I think where I felt the most encouragement and joy was I saw people pushing through fear. And that's what stood out. I got to watch on LinkedIn and see one of our alumni, Diana, who took time out of her brand new job that she's landed to go back and help job seekers and really help them navigate through the landscape that is in volatile space right now in construction inside of California. And she did it without any fear whatsoever. She stepped right up into that convention, into that room, and led those moments. And then she was so kind to tag individuals and share a post to help them spread their story. And she did it by owning her own story. And when you think about what that means and what this importance of our whole community and what it is, it's really around that piece. To take this information that we're learning and share it. It doesn't matter where you sit inside of our community, whether you're a part of the membership programs or not. The goal is that you learn something and then you share it with others. And when you make it, because you will, when you overcome that fear and you make it, you reach a hand back and you pull people forward. That's the goal. And I saw it. I even saw some people step in and utilize the 3-6-9 method of follow-up and let some things go. They let the fear, it doesn't go away, but they let that fear to walk away because they're like, you know what, if they're not going to pay attention, I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to let it control me for all the other steps in my strategy to move forward. And so letting some of those companies go early on in the process, right, doesn't mean they're not going to follow up later. It's that they're not going to worry about it. They're not going to let the fear control them. They moved on and they gave themselves clarity. They overcame that fear because they were able to move. They didn't look at it as a missed opportunity with some of those jobs. No, they saw it as a way to close that chapter and focus in on others. Because the truth of the matter is, job seeking right now is not perfect. There is no perfect solution. And anyone that's trying to tell you that there is not telling you the truth. It is not a perfect scenario. It's just not what's out there. There's no perfect method that everybody can just take, read it, implement it, and go complete and have execution. That's not true. It's unique and special to every single person. And the key to it is to not let yourself get stuck and get frozen in time or locked in a lockbox of fear because maybe you don't have the confidence. Maybe that lack of confidence causes you to have fear from posting. Maybe it's a fear of being seen and putting yourself out there. Maybe you have a fear of making the wrong decision and saying the wrong thing in a networking event or opportunity. And maybe it's just a fear of not getting it right and making a choice. I just want you to know that that fear doesn't go away. Of all the top individuals who are alumni now, who are so successful, and if you think about there's 11 individuals who've already found a role this year alone, right? I guarantee you, if we talk to those individuals right now, right, they would all say they had to overcome some form of fear and realize that it can't hold them back. Because the truth of the matter of how job seekers are winning right now, it's consistency. That's it. And the key to that is understand it doesn't remove your fear, but it does shrink that fear. It takes that fear and bottles it up every time that you take control over that fear. It will lose its grip that it has over you. But what's most important in this, and this is where I want to bring it all the way back to you, is when you look at yourself at this very moment and you think through where you sit as a job seeker. Are you avoiding things that make you uncomfortable? Are you focused on leaning in to those things that make you uncomfortable? Because if you're not, I highly recommend that you scroll back through the Discord community and you look through some of those individual posts that were there. Because every single one of those individuals who were posting, they still had fear. I know them personally. I communicate with all of you. And I can tell you that each and every single one of them are pushing past fear, concerns, doubts, worries, and they're making decisions not because they're perfect, but because they understand the fundamental shift that happens as a job seeker when you stop letting fear control who you are and you start leaning into the possibilities of what if. What if it works? What if this is the conversation that gives me the clarity moment to understand how to tell my story? What if this is the person who will introduce me to the right person who will finally see me for who I am and what I'm worth? And so as we step back from that, and the challenge this week is simple. It's not about winning, but it's about understanding what winning needs to look like. And that win as a job seeker are a lot of micro, small wins every single day that open the door for that final big win of landing that job. And I will tell you from my experience over the last year plus of being blessed to work with you job seekers, of most of my alumni, sure, some of them found their dream jobs, and that's great. Most of them learned something about themselves, and that dream job image shifted and changed through the process, and that gave them the clarity and the success to make the right choice for them, to move them on the path to finding what's next. And so I hope for you that as you lean into this week, you write down 2 or 3 big fears, and you work on a systematic approach to overcome those fears. And once you've accomplished that, I'd love to hear about them. Whether you want to drop them into the Discord or you want to message me directly, I'd be happy to help. So I recommend take that 5 minutes, write down those fears, and build an approach to beat them. Doesn't mean they're going to go away, but it does mean you can bottle them up. I appreciate you guys, as I always do. I'm excited for what's possible here. And obviously with the group that we've got on here, it's going to be fun to have a little chat here just about that. So appreciate you. And I look forward to, of course, chatting with all of you guys very soon.